Hi everyone. Um, okay, this session, we'll see how this one goes. This one is uh, about as unscripted as it gets. Okay, the session is going to be on, well, it was going to be on a tune called Looking Glass by Allan Holdsworth, but actually it's going to turn out to be on much more than that. And I want to start by dealing with a concept here. Um, and we'll start with this. This is a book of Chopin preludes. You will all recognize some of these pieces, some of the most famous pieces of music in the world, and the most recognizable tunes that you might hear the world over are from this book of 24 piano preludes by Frédéric Chopin, who was a Polish-born composer that spent most of his life in Paris. So the French kind of like to think of him as one of their own, I suppose. That's a phrase. But anyway, so there you go. And I've played a few of these pieces. I started playing them around the kind of grade 5, grade 6 piano territory. And then I played a couple of them when I was a student at music college. My piano teacher made me play the first one endlessly because he thought it would make my hands bigger, because he thought I had terribly small hands for playing piano. He was in fact correct. Anyway, I still can't play these pieces. And I always think about that because when I was a level 3 music student, of course, at Colchester Institute, I remember lessons where my composition teacher, not my piano teacher or my performance teacher, but my composition teacher would regularly play Chopin preludes to us in class. You know, just open the book and play them. Extraordinarily difficult pieces of music. Chopin was kind of like, to piano what Steve Vai is to guitar now, or something like that, or what Jacob Collier is to Logic, etc., etc. What the Kardashians are to Instagram. Chopin was the absolute Mac in his day, and so this music is very, very difficult in places. Some of it's not too bad, but anyway, the point is that this was a composition teacher that could blow his students away by just playing this great music. Of course, he was teaching us Chopin preludes because these are not really these pieces of music don't have a really set form. They're kind of improvisatory in their nature. They're basic. They don't use a lot of rules that other types of composition used. That was one of the good examples. So they focus on harmony, they focus on working through a key, or on specific techniques and ideas, thoughts, feelings, etc., etc. And so that was really cool. But anyway, what's the link here? Well, to cut to the chase here, I cannot play Looking Glass by Allan Holdsworth. I tried the opening for a few minutes, and I can't really play it. More on that. I can't beat Usain Bolt in a running race. I can't beat Gordon Ramsay at making a lasagna. I can't even, well, there's a whole bunch of stuff I can't do, but okay, that all makes sense, but why am I mentioning that? Well, in music, you never really get any rest from what you can't do. Do you? Or maybe you do. I don't. I can't play these pieces, and it's a constant source in some way of anxiety for me and problems. I can't teach the best classes you've ever seen or heard 3 times a day. You guys are not high-fiving me on the way out of class. And in my head, that's a problem. Because if the classes were good enough, you would be. Now, you might say, whoa, Mike, MA, cut yourself some slack here. I'd like to, but I just don't know how to. For me, music is a world that once you step into that world, There's no going back, and it's brilliant. Don't get me wrong. It's not painful. It's just relentless. And I've got lots of friends that have a similar kind of engagement with it. You know, good is never good enough, and perfect is unachievable. And even if it was, you'd probably go crazy before you got there. And the tune Looking Glass is a bit like that. Okay, the most prolific music teacher on the internet is Rick Beato. He has 1.4 million subscribes on his YouTube music education, music tech, music theory, gear, etc. music channel. It's a great YouTube channel. You should check it out. He dissects lots of kind of rock music and metal. He does a fantastic job of that. He's a very talented musician. He can play lots. And his videos are super high spec. Everything my videos are not. And lo and behold, he's done a video on this tune. So you can check that out. It just interests me a great deal that you know, the greatest music educator, so-called, or the most popular, the most watched music teacher, potentially in the history of mankind, has a video on this. And one of the things he does in this video is say that he can't really play the piece. He talks about how difficult the chord voicings are. He doesn't really address the rhythm of the song, and what have you. I did something that I never normally do when I transcribe a track, which is that I looked for a transcription of this song. I couldn't find one, which was just as well in some ways, because I wouldn't have used it if I had done. Because when you ask me to unpack a track, like you've done on so many occasions now, that's what I do. I don't cheat. I've talked about this before. I have to learn how to do it, and so I do. Some take more than others. It depends on what level of detail. But I think, you know, this was a really good example of this relentless search in music. Now, fine, there are lots of things I can do, and I spread myself thinly across many, many different things. My composition teacher did not know a lot about hip-hop or things like that, and etc. You know, for a music teacher, I run quite fast, etc. But the great thing about music is we have this constant search. Anyway, my work continues, and I'll keep working on the Chopin Preludes, amongst many other things. Okay, good. So let me tell you what I do know about Looking Glass by Allan Holdsworth, and we'll get into it here. The voicings are really hard to play on guitar, and hey, I mean, there's lots of guitar players saying that on the internet. On piano, they're quite easy. The first chord in Looking Glass is a D sus4 sus2, which is quite easy to play. That's D, A, G, and E. And so let me teach you something. It's a bit rambly up to this point, although I hope you get it. Let me teach you something really kind of hard, cold facts about the way that this harmony works. The voicings are wide. Okay, so you're playing low on the guitar and high on the guitar and kind of leaving out the middle. And you can see that here on the way I'm playing on piano. There's a fifth and there's a sixth. And it creates a really beautiful D sus4 sus2 sound. D, A, G, E, which goes to like a C Lydian kind of sound. It's like C sus2 sharp 4, C, G, F sharp, D. The next chord sounds like this. Chord sounds like this. And that's the A section. The A section lasts for a few seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Has 10 chords. I'll play those again. And all I want you to do is just see how open they are. They use fifths, they use sixths, they use the voicings really expanded. And I've taught you that a lot. So let's do one on E. That's a perfect fifth, E to B. If you're making it E minor, you would think to put the G, the third of the chord, the note that gives its identity in the middle of that chord. Okay, but instead, think about putting it up there. Now that's a standard lesson with me that you would get several weeks into year 1. Okay, yeah, and that's the kind of thing that's going on there. If I put a D on top, I think you can just about see that. Maybe you can. Just put it down the octave and then you can. Now that's the kind of voicing that you get in this piece of music. That's an E minor 7 chord, but it's got this wide voicing using fifths. Okay, so here's the beginning of the song. And this runs throughout the entire track. Okay, I've worked out a lot of the chords, not quite all of them. There was one section I haven't done, and I will do something where I show you the chart and show you all of the voicings that I have worked out. But in this first video, I'll just explain these kind of concepts. So D, A, G, E goes to C, G, F sharp, D, goes to E, B, A, F sharp, goes to F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, E, goes to E, B, F sharp, D sharp, goes to E flat, B flat, F, D flat, goes to E, B, F sharp, C sharp, goes to F, C, G, D flat, super tense sound, like F sus 2 flat 6, E, B, F sharp, C sharp is the penultimate chord of the first section, and then E flat, B flat, F, D flat. I think the rhythm, let me have a go at this. This will go badly. I played it wrong already. I'm trying to remember. I've only heard this song once or twice. It goes something like that. Okay? So you can see it's really hard. And the whole next section uses that. Okay. Now, I can't beat Usain Bolt in a race. I'm not even the quickest guy on my street. Actually, I might be that, but I'm not the I'm not the quickest guy if I go one street over. There's a guy that beats me all the time. But that doesn't matter, okay? Because I don't run to be the quickest. And I didn't get into music to be the best. You know, I didn't want to be famous or like anything like that. I just wanted to play the music that I wanted to play, right? None of you guys want to be famous. You want to play great music, right? I mean, yeah, and that's right. You came to study music. You didn't come on a music course just to pass the time of day between you being at school and becoming a famous musician. You came to study music, just like I said. So that's fantastic to know, and we'll move forward. Okay, so I don't run to be the quickest. I run because I enjoy it and it's good for me. And so I study music also for those kind of reasons. So there's a section, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. There's a section with loads of slash chords. So let me quickly talk about those. You know when you get like A over G, or you get E over D, B over E, D over C, that kind of thing. Part of this song uses an awful lot of that. Okay, so that you get voicings like this, which would be E, G, A, C. That's an A major chord there in second inversion over G. Here's another example. This is a voicing of E over D, where you get D, B, E, G sharp. That actually goes to another slash. You get 3 in a row here. So here's E over D. Cool. Here's B over E. Cool. That sounds really nice. And then D over C. Yeah, and that resolves down on A minor 7. And then you get E sus to E major. G over F, G over F, D over G, D over C. So you get this kind of world here. So just remember that. We've got a bass note, which is G, and then we've got a chord on top, which is A major over G. Yeah, which is like an A7 chord. And I love those slash chords. You guys know that. It's something I've talked about a lot. But that's not what I want to talk about now. What I want to talk about now is the solo section. And I'm going to just pick a few chords and then show you why I study music and why I like getting into it. Because I can pull things from my study back into me. I do not particularly enjoy listening to Looking Glass by Allan Holdsworth. I love the harmony, but I don't like the sound choices, like the sonic texture of the track. It is not for me. I'm very happy to admit that to you. It doesn't mean I don't think the music is beautiful and fantastic. I do think that, but it's not for me. It's not a track that I want to spend a lot of time with. Having said that, having worked out the chords on the solo section, I can now manipulate those for myself. So let's just take a section of that. There are so many chords in this song. The solo section goes A sus, D over G, B minor, A flat minor, G sus, G flat, E flat minor, D flat 7 altered, A, D over G, A flat minor, E flat minor, D flat minor, C major 7, A flat major 7, G minor, E flat major 7, D minor, B flat major 7, B flat minor, F sus, F. And then there's a 3-chord tag of F sharp, G sharp, C sharp, and then it goes back in round. Okay, that's too much. That is way too much. But what if I take a little section of that? Okay, if I take A flat major 7 and play G minor, and then E flat major 7, D minor, B flat major 7, B flat minor, and F sus. So I've just taken a little section of that. I've taken some things that I like. So I just went from A flat to G minor to E flat major 7 to D minor, and I vamped that round, and then I put a tag on which was B flat major 7, B flat minor, F sus, and F. A flat major 7, G minor, there's some extensions there, G minor 11 in the Robert Glasper voicing, or what I call the Robert Glasper voicing, A flat major 7, G minor, E flat major 7, E flat major 9 there, so E flat major, D minor, and I cycled that round. Of B flat minor, F sus, and F. So my point is this: the search continues. We study music so that we can gain things from it. I know more about music having unpacked this track a little bit, and actually it's given me the potential start of a piece. Or furthermore, it's given me the concept that I could do that. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Tom C from Group A Y2. I'm sorry, it's not a full rhythmic transcription and not the forensic detail that I did on the track yesterday. But to be perfectly frank, just like it would take me so long to learn all of these pieces, I could easily spend a whole day or two just on Looking Glass. And if you guys actually learn how to play that, I can guarantee that you're going to get ill through carpal tunnel and tendonitis and all sorts of problems. It is highly specific. It's a bit like the musical equivalent of trying to beat Usain Bolt in a running race. So I hope the lessons are clear. I'll do a video where we unpack the chord voicings even more and you can see them. And I hope that makes sense. Cool. Do check out Rick Beato. He's a kind of cantankerous guy, and he's a complete egomaniac. But anyway, props to him. He has 1.4 million subscribers, and I have 23. To be fair, I don't have any public videos on my YouTube channel, but nonetheless, big props to Rick Beato. And of course, Allan Holdsworth. He died in 2017 of heart disease. He's English. He's from Bradford. He died in Los Angeles, I think. And great shout, Tom. Thanks for suggesting that. I hope there's some useful things in there for you to consider. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Okay, thanks everyone. Ciao.